Okay, so this video is going to be vastly different from the other horrible altcoins. Do not buy these videos you've seen on YouTube, because those guys talk about obvious crappy altcoins or scams that we all pretty well know not to buy anyway. But this video is different because I'm talking about altcoins that are S tier. These are high quality 10 out of 10 altcoins that I know you probably hold. I still hold. We're looking to change that, as we'll see in a minute here. And I'm going to tell you the reasons why I don't think they're going to be good for this bull run. Now, I'm expecting, honestly, a fair bit of hate on this video, and it was one of the reasons why I was thinking about not even telling you about it and just only telling the private community. But I thought this information is, of course, in line with the channel name down below, No BS Crypto. And ultimately, at the end of the day, my feelings and my fear of having backlash is honestly worth letting the 1 in every 1,000 person actually make a critical decision. And before we get into the video, I want to say as well, please just remember that this isn't me shitting on these altcoins. I think all of these, as I said, are S tier projects. They're fantastic. It's just we have to pivot what we see as a quality project for 2025, this bull run, and not what will be quality projects for the next bull run or the next 7 years. With that said, pay close attention, open your mind to the possibilities of what I'm sort of saying here, and don't just rush to the comment section like every TikTok brain person and just scream, why, okay? Let's get into it. Let me iron out one important fact. This video is not titled, Warning, Don't Buy These Bad Altcoins for 2024. This video is titled in a way to tell you, I don't think these altcoins are going to have as explosive potential as one might perceive, or at least, maybe a better way to rephrase that is as explosive potential versus 2030. Because I think, again, all these projects I'm about to list are fantastic buys for the next bull run where their particular narrative will be the main stage and the main focus. Why? Stop talking in riddles, you're asking yourself. So, I'm talking about projects focused primarily in Web 2. Not just projects focused a little bit in Web 3, like mainly focused in Web 2 adoption. And as we'll see in a second, I had a close friend of mine tell me this years ago and warn me about this. And it's taken me this long to really put those pieces together. So we basically know projects that are in Web 3, right? These are projects focusing on just crypto, blockchain adoption and growth within crypto, building this industry. Then we also have the side of this industry based on Web 2, okay? And these are the ones like Quant, XLM, XRP, even HBAR, XDC Network, Algorand, these sort of projects, Casper with a C. These ones are like really trying to implement themselves in the real world, which means their token, the value of the token is primarily focused on being absorbed and therefore the price going up and up and up from actual adoption, actual Web 2 businesses, end users, you know, whether that's someone wanting to use a merchant and pay something with a credit card, that type of thing, okay? And that doesn't come from instant growth like it can in Web 3. Web 3 is full of degens. Degens love to just throw money at whatever and hope for the best. This takes time, but mark my words, the money in these guys coming in here very soon, which is why I think 2030 will be where these coins could most definitely like blow people out of the park, like 50, 100x even. Maybe not XRP, but you know, most of them. And it's again, basically because they take longer to turn. The wheels are turning, but we can already see right now that things like HBAR, and Quant, for example, XLM, XDC, guys, these people are partnered with literally the best in the world, whether they're enterprises, whether in the, the private sector of the world, or whether in the public sector of the world, like we can see here with the likes of Quant partnering with literally the bank of all central banks, and even things like, central banks themselves, they are making massive moves, but we need to focus our attention on one important thing, the degens. Where are the degens likely to put their money? And that is what I've had this mental shift and focus on right now. So we need to focus on the buzz, essentially, right? Degens aren't super excited about these types of projects. Actual investors likely, I've got a lot of seriously smart people that follow me, and we can see the vision, right? We're not looking at the next day or the next week like these degens are. They're chasing the gains. That's dumb money. We are smart enough to go, these projects, like I mentioned to you over here, primarily focused in Web 2. And again, even these projects that are kind of dabbling in Web 3 a little bit with their, public network. This is what we can see happening and actually having real adoption, and they already are, like I showed you over here. But the degens don't want to buy that. And again, remember, this is a degen heavy bull run. We are similar to the last bull run, and we're similar back into 2018, where again, the market is going to move from dumb money. So my catchphrase I'm trying to trademark here is, to make money from the degen, we have to be one step ahead of the degen, okay? So as I said, actual investors like most of you and I see the potential in these projects, so we buy them, okay? It's very obvious to us, it's a new emerging tech, but this might be a 7-year wait before we see the fruits of our labor. And that's going to be the main thing behind this video, is going to be, these are great projects, but they're going to be great in what I believe will be an enterprise bull run in 2030. We're going to have, I think, the last real, true, crazy degen bull run. And then in the next 7 years, when the next bull run comes, we're going to have these projects basically taking the forefront and everyone going, wow, look at this cool tech. Because not only will adoption for crypto gain in terms of the whole industry, we also have crypto awareness from these ETFs. So a lot of these institutional investors, angel investors, even general enterprise projects are being aware in the market as a mass, but also on the microscopic individual altcoin level. We've seen Casper with the C, Hedera recently on many panels at Davos. Even though I don't like Davos, right? It's one of the WEF-based communities, if you will. We also have, of course, Algorand making massive strides as well with some of these massive foundations, and these are going to have effects. If you want to even include CBDCs into that conversation, I know it gets kind of, new old ordery, but this is what ultimately will be basically, I think, taking the majority of the bull run in 2030. So I had a friend of mine tell me this back in late 2022, a year and a half ago. His name's Rich. Shout out to Rich if you're watching this. He said to me, and I quote, "Degens don't like your coins, bro. Go hard on Solana in the Sol ecosystem in 2025. And back then, I didn't do really much research on Sol, didn't like it as much. And obviously, times have changed. I've started doing more research on it recently, but back then I called him crazy, right? He's a self-admitted degen. He calls himself a degen. He knows he is, right? But that's how he knows where the money's likely to flow to. And again, he called this when everyone was shitting on Solana, when Solana was at like $9, when there was not much happening in Solana, Helium, Render, all these projects hadn't migrated over there. Everyone was crapping on it, including myself. So Rich knows what's up because he already knows and thinks like a degen. He is the cat that already thinks like a mouse. And that's kind of what I want to really bring us to here. And so I want to point out some of these projects. And mind you, I'm not saying all of these are going to be bad buys. I think, primarily speaking, the ones that are really super duper Web 2 focused might not be amazing buys. The ones that dabble a little bit in Web3 are, I still think, and let me confirm these with you in a second here, but again, the ones that are mainly in Web3, even like Render here with a little bit of Web2 adoption and focus, I think are going to be the main big plays for this bull run. So let me get into the reasons why. Now, this is one of the many things. XDC, for example, has about 100,000 interactions per day. That's YouTube, Twitter, that's Reddit, that's all these different social platforms combined, and this is over the last 6 months, so it's quite bad when you compare it even with the likes of XLM over here. Its average in the last 12 months is 300,000 per day, which again, it spiked up recently here because of some bad news. So this does incorporate good and bad news as well. Quant over here, the highest out of all these 500,000. You'll see, I'll talk about Quant in a second with my personal portfolio. I have 150 Quant right now. I'm looking to keep some still because I think Quant is still very mimetic. It's still very much focused, still have a massive impact in 2025, but I think it's going to blow the hell up in 2030 like these other coins will as well. And Hedera is the one outlier here because Hedera's, in the last 12 months, basically the average of their interactions been 1 million. Okay, so the highest out of all these by far, doubling the next highest, which is Quant, and HBAR's interactions are rivaling some of the biggest in the space, which is why I still believe that HBAR is going to have a massive bull run. And look, it's not as cookie cutter as pretty much telling you guys, hey, I think all these Web 2 focused projects are bad, or not. I shouldn't say, again, bad. They're not bad. They're just not going to be as explosive for the bull run. And keep in mind, like these coins can still 10x from current prices. They can still even 20x from prices. Hell, even Casper with a C will still 30x. And that's one of the reasons why I've kept it still and haven't sold it. But all I'm saying here is I would prefer to reinvest that money and focus on projects like Pith, for example, or Manta, right? The ones that hit many different narratives on the head, massive narratives, that are again focused on the degens. That's all it is. So this is what I really think I want to take your attention to, and how I'm going to like restructure my portfolio. I'll show you in a second. And that's mainly focusing on 9s and 10s in terms of the amount of demand that will come into each of these narratives. Now you'll notice here that I've got layer 1s as 10 out of 10, and most of the projects I just mentioned to you, Algorand, XDC, XLM, even Quant is technically in the grand scheme of things actually a layer 1 project. They're layer 1s, but they're not Web3 focused layer 1s like I showed you over here. You know, they're focused in this department, and while they might touch a little bit on Web3, they aren't really focused on growing in Web3 over the next 2 years. They're mainly still focused on just doing the bare minimum, maybe even just having their public network available in Web3, when really they're focused on Web2. Again, longer term growth here. And so actually Web3 layer 1s, in my opinion, probably rank a 6 out of 10 for demand. That doesn't mean, again, they're not going to have massive growth. Again, you're likely to have, you know, Casper, XDC, XLM, Quants. These projects do really well. People are going to ignore what I'm just saying right now, so I keep repeating myself. But that's why I'm sort of pivoting to projects that can guarantee me more degen money, right? More explosive potential. So how I'm looking to navigate my portfolio now after the reconfiguration. This is the last time you guys to see my portfolio. I told you I sold out all these coins here and consolidated back into HBAR. Well, things have been shuffled around yet again. Well, at least will be, okay? So I'm doubling down on the likes of Near Protocol, Mina, and Multiverse X. I'm buying things, and when I say double down, by the way, I mean just buying more, okay? Also looking to buy again Pith, Flux. Notice that I did sell Flux. Where are you? Over here. That was a mistake. Happy to admit it was a mistake to sell Flux. I'm going to buy Manta as well. It's going to be my layer 2 play of the bull run. Alt layer, I'm still doing a little bit more research on. Actually, by the time you watch this video, I would have already done a review on these guys yesterday. So I haven't done that yet. Beam, of course, these guys are, of course, a gaming play as well, and a few smaller caps like PokerStarter and some ones that I haven't actually mentioned to you yet, and ones that pop up in the bull run. Also, I'm looking to sell XLM, half my Quant, and my XDC. Now, again, these are literally all three of these 10 out of 10 projects. Like, can't fault them, and I've made many videos and still will make videos on them, by the way. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying their explosive potential might not be as much as what they really could be in comparison to 2030. I'm looking to keep Algorand because I bought in this project quite cheap, and also the price has been suppressed because of the SEC lawsuit. So it's been a great option to buy a project that really should maybe 20x overall, that can likely 40x or more now because of that. And also because Algorand is looking to make more moves into Web3 like HBAR is as well. Also Casper, I just simply bought into Casper quite cheap. You know, 200 mil market cap, I think Casper can go to at least a few billion, therefore I'm getting my 30x out of Casper. So, you know, while this, you know, demand might diminish as at least what I'm predicting, it doesn't take away from the fact that if you can buy these projects cheap, it's still fantastic buys. Again, they're not bad. They just, I believe, won't have as explosive growth. And also HBAR as well. I'm keeping my HBAR. HBAR is my number one holding and will remain my number one holding likely. HBAR is making strides into Web3. They recently unlocked like $500 million or $400 million worth of tokens to mainly look towards growing their, you know, sort of Web3 ecosystem. And, you know, there's been tweets put out now about, you know, meme coins even. So they're looking to appeal to the degen guys. They're one of the smartest projects and teams in the space. So I have full faith that they're going to, again, pivot towards what is important to the degen. Now, again, my goal here is to focus on the 10s and the 9s and hit these at least 2 to 3 times each. Okay, so what I'm sort of saying here is in all of my projects, in everything I buy, I'm looking to get into every single one, at least if I can 2 times. Now, there's going to be some like layer 2s that I might only hit once, depending on if a good opportunity doesn't arise in the future. But either way, most of these are a 2, okay? So I'm not looking to buy any sort of weak narratives, and that's fine. They can still do well, like they definitely will. But the reason why I'm focusing on these is because they all kind of actually, a lot of these projects are building these things. And so overall, as the market grows and as these projects grow, they'll help bring the average up and up and up. They'll basically help build each other, the higher lows up. And of course, as we all know, they will peak at different times, which is why it's important to be diversified. I've done lots of extensive research on the channel telling you all, like, look, you know, Oracle's pump over here in the bull run, gaming pumps even after Bitcoin, DeFi pumps somewhat in the middle, interoperability peaked just before Bitcoin did. So they all peak at different times, which is why you want to be diversified, but also match them up together to grow that in tandem, basically. So yeah, that's going to do today's video, guys. I hope you have gotten the point. I've made it like 5 or 6 times already in the video that they're not bad, okay? They're good. It's actually very good. They're the ones that I personally have a vested interest in because I have been researching these for the last 2 to 3 years of my life and have told you they're fantastic. That's obviously still true, but I think that we have to conform and yield what we believe is good to what the degens actually want and what they think is good. So guys, that's going to do today's video. I guess might be a bit hard to hear for a lot of you, and it is for myself. Again, I was deciding whether I should not even tell you this because is it worth the backlash and the hate when I can continue just telling you, you know, that, yeah, these projects are going to do well, like they're going to, you know, 50x. I don't know. It's a moral conundrum. I hope I've opted for the side of good. So with that being said, thanks all. Talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.